So good morning, everyone. And today I'm with Matt Taylor. I've interviewed Matt's dad twice now, Craig Taylor. He founded, along with three others, CyberHoot, a cybersecurity company and training center. I consider over time I've gone over the website numerous times. It could be the premier training center for cyber literacy, I think we call it. Matt, go
Yep.
ahead and jump right in and introduce yourself and your role in the company. So you're working with your dad now. How old are you, Matt?
I'm 23, about to turn
23.
24.
About to turn 24 years old, and you're working with your dad's company. It's been around for about 11 years now. And
Yep.
tell us when you started with it, how you got involved with it. Did your dad convince you? Did you convince yourself? Did you guys talk about it?
Yeah. I mean, so, you said it's been around 11 years. So I kind of grew up, as a little kid watching him start the company and all that. Went to school, didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I did 2 years in college. And then he was like, well, maybe you take a break and you could try coming and working for me. But the team wasn't necessarily convinced that I had the skills to, have what it takes to work for the company. So I started, and first 3 months I did like kind of like an unpaid internship to see if the team really if I had what I needed to be part of the team. And I was working on video creation and I was helping out in sales, kind of shadowing him on some sales calls. I went to a few conferences with him to try and kind of understand our goals. And I really feel like I fit in when it comes to kind of getting our message out there, trying to change the industry away from negative punishment, the punishment approach that's so prevalent in cybersecurity training, and trying to turn it towards positive reinforcement, if that makes sense. Um, Now, for what I do, currently I'm in charge of creating our videos for our annual program on the different cybersecurity skills. So the last video that I created was on passkeys and passphrases and password managers, which is kind of the biggest step forward for a lot of people that don't really have the cybersecurity skills. That's kind of the first step is when it comes to your passwords, how do you manage them?
So this is an enormous role you have with the company because you're creating the videos that are going to create the new sales, and also generate the. Because I know on an individual level, those videos are what everybody rely on, and they're also getting them for free. But you're also creating a momentum for the company when you do that. Then the other thing you had mentioned was the game. Your dad sort of calls it gamifying. Like he said, he gave this
Yeah.
great example of he doesn't really like to exercise. No one really does. You go into the gym with 10 things to do, and it's like a drag, but he turned his exercise into doing something he loves, and that's playing hockey. Same
And
thing
I
with
would do the same.
right,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
did the same. So, same thing with the idea of when you go into corporate America and you start doing these whatever training they have available, whether it's CyberHoot or something they developed on their own or another company. A lot of times it's punitive, and you get an or an
Yeah.
X or you open the phishing email and so, but you guys turned it into a CyberHoot, the company, the system in place has turned it into a way where you're learning and you're having fun, and that's really important. So let's talk about that for a quick minute, and then I'll jump into.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So what we try and do at CyberHoot is nobody really likes training, whether it's cybersecurity or, training for any number of things. It can honestly be kind of a drag. So we've created a way that gets some enjoyment where you get an avatar and it ranks up. And so people love the avatars. They like to see their character improving over time. We've added confetti, after you do well on an assignment. Um, and there's a leaderboard now, so it's kind of a little game between, different people in a company. You can have a friendly competition with, say, one of your coworkers. And so we're really trying to direct it towards a fun environment for people to study, as opposed to a punitive environment where people are negatively impacted by the training that they receive. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, it makes perfect sense. And whenever like I've had, I'm a lot older than you, but over time I've been through certain training. Like get hired by a new company. I'm sitting there in the room with 20 other people, right? And the only thing running through my mind is I'm the only one not getting it. And then I realize that no one's really getting it. But when you're
Right.
in that environment, suddenly you're the one guy that gets the confetti, or you're the one guy that ranks up, and then everybody else is watching you. It changes the whole environment, other than this
Yeah.
awkward stare at one another that we're all not getting it, we're all screwed, we're all going to be looking for a new job tomorrow. And it really could create even a more successful environment, not just over time, not just a funner environment, a more successful environment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's super important. I think that the biggest takeaway is like friendly competition. If everybody is just worried about, getting punished for doing the wrong thing, they're not focusing on trying to improve themselves and really understanding it. They're just trying to do they can to not get punished, as opposed to, trying to shoot for the confetti or shoot for the number one on the leaderboard or try and outsmart their coworkers and that sort of thing. It really flips it on its head as to not being the last guy, the worst guy getting punished, but trying to be the best instead, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it makes perfect sense. Now, one thing I was going to jump right into, because you're a younger person, right? So let's go back to, okay, cryptocurrency. It initially
Okay.
rolled out that actually Warren Buffett and his partner blasted it. I think Warren Buffett's partner's name is Charlie Munger. He called it some he just they just said it's never going to survive. It did survive, and my feeling is it survived because young people took an interest in it. And that's why it's blossoming now. And now you even see it on political websites. Political candidates are accepting cryptocurrency as a donation. So when it comes to that, when you think of cryptocurrency, it's the number one target for hackers. I mean, we've
Mhm.
literally got North Korea breaking into people's accounts now. So does CyberHoot address that sort of
That that is a good question. We haven't really done any training around cryptocurrency yet. You bring up a good point though. I feel like, especially as a younger person, on social media a lot, and the whole younger generation is engulfed in social media, and that was really it was ingrained. Cryptocurrency kind of when it started taking off, when Bitcoin started taking off and all that, it was all over social media. And so all the younger generation kind of picked up on it and was like, okay, well, maybe this is a worthwhile investment. So I think a lot of younger people started investing into cryptocurrency. And that being said, not a lot of the younger generation has the skills necessarily online to secure their accounts, which might lead to why it's such a big target. I think that might be something that we need to add in the future. But I think securing cryptocurrency is the same as securing most other accounts. It all breaks back to the basics, with strong pass phrases, with having a password manager for all your accounts, and so that people can't grab your password off of a breached random account from, say, like social media or any of the leaks out there, and then use that same password to get into your other accounts.
right? And that's what I was thinking is because that was the whole when you say you really saw it on social media, that was the cryptocurrency's target market was
Yeah,
young people. And the thing about something me and your dad talked about is if we get a handle on cybersecurity in America, we could really lead the world economically. This is really something where we could get the leg up on because it's a serious problem, whether it's cryptocurrency or whether it's just banking or whether it's just even credit card fraud. I mean, the whole and this is just like me and your dad had talked about trying to get with there were AARP and stuff like that,
right.
getting these videos out on AARP. And I'm always
Yeah.
working on trying to get somebody to interview and then interconnect you guys with them. But when you create your videos and you think about the gamifying part of it, the part that makes it fun, that really targets young people. Again, are you thinking about putting more videos out on social media and trying to get younger people to reign in cyberhoot?
Yeah, absolutely. I know we have a bunch of different socials. We have a Reddit. We're trying to get involved in Discord. We haven't really gotten through to like creating an Instagram page and creating reels, but I know short form is the biggest way that people in my generation really go through information, whether it's like minute long Instagram reels and stuff of that nature. I've mostly focused on the 2 to 3 minute kind of videos for like corporate America and for small to medium sized businesses and that sort of thing. But my next goal in the long term is to develop some short form content with reels and stuff of that nature to try and get the message out there to young people as well.
Yeah, I think that would be a great thing, and you would be the guy for it. And then, like you said, when you came on, you didn't even know if you'd fit. And now it seems like the more we talk about it, you're really the big fit. You're really the missing piece of the puzzle is relating because when you reach out to young people, like me and your dad said, if we get a leg up on this and we secure 90% of Americans' fortunes, we're way ahead of the curve than the rest of the world because there's all kinds of and they get pretty creative and they get more and more
Oh yeah.
creative than
Yeah.
you just one thing and they're already on top of two new things, but with you guys steps you can block them out of anything.
Yeah, and so it's really important. I mean, cybercrime, I don't know if my dad had mentioned this, but it's the third largest economy in the world. It's just behind China and the United States. Some egregious amount of trillions of dollars every year that gets hacked in cybercrime. Um, and I think the biggest issue is that we're not teaching our young kids, all the people that are, coming up on technology all the time, really the skills that they need to know. It's even as important as teaching, all the people in all these big companies to how to stay secure is securing the next generation, I think is a big goal.
Absolutely, that's my thing. That's always been my thing. Is it's like you said, we are laser focused on corporate America, but we need to be laser focused on individual America too. And like this, they say, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds tomorrow. And young people are the ones that are really the next. They are the next in line. We need to pass the torch, and we need to pass the torch with a sense of understanding of a lot of things. But cybersecurity is a very significant one of those things. And so here was another question I wanted to jump right into. So you're in college for 2 years, right?
Yep.
Then you said you talked to your dad. You said, "Let me pause." You paused college, right? And you
Yep.
came on board, right? And this has
Yep.
always been a question I ask young people. It's great to have college, right? But would you have ever traded your college funding, your college loans, your Pell Grants for a small business loan to be a bigger part of your dad's business? Because I'm looking at providing that as an option to politicians because I think we do need to get more young people involved in owning small business or taking part of the family business.
I think that is a really good point. I look at the student loans that I have, and I kind of wish I didn't have them. And I haven't finished, so I haven't gotten my degree yet. So, it's just kind of a big chunk of change that I owe to the banks that hasn't really gotten me anything yet. If I could go back and put all the money that I put towards college towards starting my own small business or joining on the force earlier, I think that would have been a huge difference in my career.
Basically buying into CyberHoot. Like you said, you wanted to know if you're going to be an integral part of the business. You are now. So that took about 90 days to identify. They probably came to the realization even before the 90-day term. But then if you would have had that, and there's no reason to believe that if you would have took that option, if that option were available and you would have took that option, that doesn't mean you're precluded from continuing your college education. You could still do
Right.
that online at, of course, lesser expense and work online with your business that you just bought into and that you're taking a significant role in. Or
Yeah.
starting your own business or starting
Right.
your own or starting your own branch of cyberhoot. That's always the things I'm exploring because we keep talking about the growing chasm between the very rich and the very poor. And
Hmm.
there was this example of there's this um there's this economist Robert Reich, and he says the rich have an upper hand. Jeff Bezos' mom lent him $250,000, and I'm like, that's not a lot of money. But if that's all it took to get him started, a lot of kids could have that option if they opted out of big student loans.
Right.
So, so, but now that you're a part of CyberHoot, now that you're and so you're working on the video parts, you take part, and you said you're going to conferences, you're taking part in sales calls. Um, how is that every day you're consulting with the other 11? How many people are with the company all total? Your dad, the three founders.
And then two other kids of the founders. So I think there's
Oh,
7 of us right now.
so that's beautiful. That's really going to be something. I'd like to interview them too. That's really huge. You got to realize that this is a big deal. This could be the next Facebook. I keep telling your dad that, and he keeps kind of like, it could, but let's just be realistic. But
Yeah,
realistically, if you talk about your approach, it's not the punitive approach. It's a kind of fun approach. We're talking about young people who want to get into investing. And and this is we're really, if we don't understand cybersecurity, we're really putting the cart before the horse. Yeah, we could succeed and make $1 million. We could also get it all stolen the next day.
right. Yeah, and I think the biggest part is getting cybersecurity classes out there for students in high school. I think would be the biggest beneficiary to like our society. If they don't have to worry about understanding what phishing is or have to learn what phishing is, take time out of their schedule, at work to do all these trainings because they already have the skills. I think that would be a huge help, and I think it would stop a lot of problems, stop a lot of theft of a lot of money before it can even start.
And even like me and your dad discussed, if you are that one kid applying with 20 others, but you're the one kid that can say, hey, I understand cybersecurity, then you're going to
Right.
outshine the other 20 candidates right there and then. That's
Absolutely.
something. So, have you thought about that? Like, I'm just saying, I'm just spitballing here. Have you thought about hitting the road and just reaching out to high schools? I could just imagine a secretary at a high school seeing you as the face of CyberHoot. That would really work.
Well, so here's the thing. We are in a lot of different school districts. We're only with the teachers right now, but we are in talks of trying to get it enrolled to some of their classes, to some of their students as like an initial program to see how it works. And so we're kind of underway on trying to start that project.
That's huge. That's really huge. Well, I'm really been reaching out to because we started another website. It was called Kids Quack. And I'm
Mm,
about to start reaching out to schools. I'm in touch with Lake County, Florida school superintendent. I'm trying to get with her on certain things we've done already, including this, and say, "Hey, what do you think of this for your students?" She has a committee of graduating students that always are thinking about what's the next steps. How can we do better for our kids, for our
mhm.
students? And so and I'm definitely going to reach out and start presenting this video as well to people. Like when I present my cards to them, say, "Hey, check this out on our podcast," and
Yeah,
they
that'd
can,
be awesome.
yeah, I really want to, that's the thing. I'm always trying to create without creating the courses themselves, creating and understanding what courses are available out there for young people to understand how to succeed. There's a lot of great stuff out there. And rather than them playing video games, I'd rather see them spending their time on stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, so, like, what is your day like? Like right now, we're here for the next for I appreciate you taking the time out for me. What is your day
Yeah.
like? Are you going to hit the computer right now and start working on some new videos? Are you going to start reaching out to salespeople? Are you going to start reaching
Yeah.
out to sales calls?
So my day consists of a few different things. I have some projects that I take care of in the morning, and then that's more based around sales and also if we have any. So we have this every day we have an alert pretty much that gives us feedback, so users can rate us positively or negatively. And so one of my initial goals of the day is to go over that feedback, look into any thumbs down, if something's wrong in our platform and stuff like that. I'm kind of like a support for end users because we have CyberHoot support, but that's mostly for admins when they reach out and they need help with some certain stuff on on the website. But my goal is to try and make sure that the end users are all having a good time and enjoying their cybersecurity training. So if there's issues that arise with our hoopfish or from the videos, then it's my goal to kind of reach out to them and either, thank them for the helpful feedback or just go in and fix it if it's like really negative feedback and something's really wrong. Then I'll go through and make all the changes that are necessary. And then for this later half of my day, it's when I really get into the video creation part of my day.
Wow, that's really great. And then, so basically, your first part of your day is customer service. It's just like the feedback is the most important thing. And then the second part is and then, like you said, you get the videos out there through social media and other outlets, other advertising outlets. Do you ever reach out to people? Do you ever call people and say, have you taken a look at this? Or,
I haven't done that. I've done some cold email outreach in the past, trying to kind of talk to people and see if they have any interest in our platform. It hasn't really been based around our videos as much as it was, around getting them into the platform. But that's definitely something I could think about trying to get our videos out there somewhere. I mean, I'm not sure if the team really wants that necessarily. If they would rather keep our videos to just the end users at our that are enrolled. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely. You definitely want to. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, if you're enrolled, you're paying, or if you're enrolled, you're in. I know the residential part of it, I think, is free, but the corporate part of it is where the fees come in, right?
Right.
And then, so if they're already enrolled, but just like you're doing the videos, just those advertising videos to get them out to corporate America. Some companies aren't big enough to create their own stuff. I actually work for another company that is big enough where they do their own thing, but I think your stuff is better. But I would never know how to get to the top and tell them that. But
Yeah.
there's definitely when a company creates their own content, but then you have a company that's all they do is create content on one subject, you're almost bound to come to the realization that the company like CyberHoot is doing a better job than the company that just creates their own content.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I think another goal for us is to really start. I mentioned this, but really start hammering home on the reels and the short form content. We initially had our video program with like it was like 6 minute training videos, 7 minute training videos, and people just tune that out immediately. They don't really care for training, nor a 7 minute video. So if we kind of tried to compress our videos, and my goal is to let's see what one of my founders said. He said, fun, entertaining, but also educational. And so that's kind of the three goals that I have to hit when I create any video.
Yeah, and it's not always easy to do, but it probably is the most successful way to do it because even for young people too is really the most because like you said the whole gamifying thing when your dad first told me about it I was like that is just great. I thought about it for myself in my own content and I was like wow that would be really something because that's the way to do it. um
Mhm.
so um now how long have you been with the company now?
So I started in the fall of 24. So it's been probably a year and 6 months-ish, year and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah, and you're really feeling well connected, right? So I could really see you
Yeah.
growing with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And it's nice to work by my dad. So we have an office where I'm in a adjacent room. So if I have any questions or, he has any questions for me, I usually help him out with more of the technological side of things when he gets frustrated at his machines. And then he helps me out with the other side when I have questions.
That's what I ask my 13-year-old when I'm having IT problems, and he just comes right. I was like, "Oh, you just do this," and I'm like, "Wow,
Yep,
thanks a lot."
exactly, exactly.
He's always got the answers, and I'm always like, when I start to think about it, I start to sweat. I'm like, and he's always got the answers, and
That's what I'm here for.
that's pretty neat. What about the other two the other two the other two children of the other two partners? What is their roles?
So one of them is also working in the sales, more so in the sales, and then the second one is in support. So Katie, her father Raf is like the support, the head VCSO for CyberHoot, and then so they kind of work on support together. She mostly has taken control of support, and that's like when the admins have questions or problems, and then Nick has been helping his father with more sales stuff.
So this is really a well-rounded organization. Every base is covered.
Yeah, yeah, I think we have it set up pretty good. We have it
Yeah.
set up pretty well.
That's something I really love is when I'm always the first to point out that big business is just consuming everything the little guy used to do. But when I see a smaller business really excelling, I really love that. I just interviewed a lady named Kate Asseroff, and she created a cosmetic company, more so like a refill. So she actually, it's a refill company. So you can bring an empty jug of laundry detergent and refill it. It's environmentally friendly. The stuff is great.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and I'm like, and she avoided Amazon. Like she's her own distribution center. I'm like, good job. I want to see companies like that and CyberHoot take over, become those
Yeah.
big companies. And
Yeah.
naturally, I have this enormous faith in you guys doing that. Every time I talk to your dad, I realize you guys really got it together.
I think it's the where we succeed, like our pros is that since we're such a small company, we're very close. So, if anybody has a problem with X, Y, or Z, they can reach out to the rest of the team, and then we're always there to kind of help each other so that we're all in it together kind of deal. Where I feel like at a big company, you don't you have your coworkers and maybe you have one or two close coworkers, but it's not really you don't feel as much a part of the bigger picture as I would here, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it makes perfect sense. It's got to be rewarding. It's got to be like a fun way to go to work every day. It's got to be
Yeah,
great.
I feel like my contributions make a big difference on like the grand scheme of it. I talk to some of my buddies who are in finance and stuff, and they have their pros and cons, but I feel like m my importance in my business in my organization is far greater than theirs. So it kind of gives me a sense of fulfillment. Like I feel like I'm succeeding in a way.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You're succeeding in a big way, and then you're growing the company all together. The three, six of you, right? In total,
Yep.
the six
Seven.
of you, seven.
Seven.
You're
Yeah.
growing. You're all going to the company together. That's got to be a lot of fun because
Yeah.
I mean, I would just love to be a part of it. I mean, I got my podcast and I'm always thinking, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, but I'm still working. I have my partner with me all the time. I talk to her every day. She's in North Carolina, but um I'd love being a part of what I'm doing. It's what I'm trying to say. And it's just like
Yeah.
that. Other than you guys been at it for 11 years, I'm at it for about 15 months now. But 11 years from now, I think it's going to be fun to have my kids involved. So,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's really nice working for my dad because, um, it, I mean, especially growing up, I was like he would talk about CyberHoot to all his friends and kind of putting the message out there. And I mean, as a younger guy, when I was like 12 to 15, I was like, oh, here he goes again. He's always talking about CyberHoot. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I kind of understand it now. And now that I see what the business is all about and I kind of understand it, it makes a huge difference in people's lives.
it's going to be funny when the tables are turned and one of your friends tell you all you ever do is talk about CyberHoot. And it's going to be, you're going to,
Exactly. It's already
because you're
started.
going to get it consumed by it, guaranteed.
Well, see, and they already kind of start doing that because I'll talk to them about the password hygiene and stuff like that, and I'm like, my one of my closest friends, his password for his phone was his phone number. It was like the first six digits of his phone number, and I'm like, that is just maybe the worst password you could have chose for your phone, with that has all your information, has all the important stuff, every important aspect of your life, and it's like, all right, Mr. Cybersecurity guy. But I'm like, you really have to change it. And so I eventually did get him to change it, but it was
No,
it was tough.
that's hilarious because you were thinking about your dad doing that. Now you're just turning into your dad, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't turn into your parents. How's that commercial go? And then
I,
it's like, we can't stop you from turning
Oh,
into your
oh, oh,
parents.
that was
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that was I know
I think
exactly
it's
the commercial.
progressive, but
Progressive,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great commercial. That's probably why Progressive had such great success because of their commercials. Cause
Hmm.
and that's actually your role now is to create those reels. Cause really, not to say reels and reels, ironically enough, but really,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, reels are the way to get to young people. And
Absolutely.
you can make an enormous impact on young people. I've seen, like I said, I've seen politicians do it. They're using Instagram more than anybody really these days. Come to campaign season, the no tax on tips. I think there was a million reels from every candidate endorsing that. A lot of young people
Absolutely.
in the restaurant business, and that's a great way to. because CyberHoot's a cool name anyway. So you can, I mean, that's something, it's like it's easy to remember. It's not like you literally got to watch the reel and write down the website. You don't, you're going to
Right.
remember CyberHoot. That's really a way to, and I really want to see young people, because like your dad said, that's a great way for us as America, a country, to get a leg up on the world economy, is to stop that trillions of dollars from hemorrhaging. And our enemies are the ones often stealing that money. North Korea is one of the biggest cybersecurity threats to the world right now. That's a big, significant part of their income. As we engage in more and more sanctions against them, they get better and better at cyber theft.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. It's
And
uh it's really important.
that's almost just one example of how important it is. This has been absolutely wonderful talking to you, Matt. I know you're
Yeah, I've
busy.
enjoyed it.
It's great. If you think about it, mention it like mention it to your two partners, younger partners, your two peers, because
Yeah.
your dads, you don't want to turn into them just yet, but you are going to be there. It won't be long. All three of them.
Yeah.
But it won't be long, or it may even start to transition now. And I just love thinking about it because my kids are going to be there. They're a little younger than you, so I'm
Yeah.
significantly older than your dad, but my kids are significantly younger than you guys. But I just started late in life. I don't rush into anything.
Yeah. No, no, it's all good. It's all good.
But it's
I've
been
really
great
enjoyed
talking.
this as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
thanks, Matt. Matt Taylor, CyberHoot, the next generation of CyberHoot, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to stay in touch all the years. I'll be at this podcasting thing forever, so we'll be in touch
Yeah.
forever over time.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds
Sounds
great.
great. Thank you so much, Matt. We'll talk soon. I'm gonna email you. I'll email your dad. I got everybody's email, and if you talk to your dad, if their dads think it's a great idea, just shoot me an email and we'll get them on. The other.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
thanks, Matt. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, sounds
Thanks.
good.
Have a
Take
great
care.
day. Take
You
care.
too.